This episode is brought to you by the Ultimate Girls Trip. Here is our reoccurring daydream. Us at a drool-worthy pool, surrounded by our business besties. We just finished a powerful exercise on building our dream lives and executing our business goals. Join us if you are ready to be celebrated for taking up space, to feel purposeful, and to live a life of fulfillment. Go to proofitspossible.com for more info. Welcome to Proof It's Possible. Jamie and I are multifaceted entrepreneurs, the founders of the Ultimate Girls Trip, and the hosts of Proof It's Possible. Jamie and I are also sisters, best friends, and complete opposites, but somehow we always manage to stay on the same team. Join us every week to hear our thoughts on all things entrepreneurship, friendship, family, pop culture, and more. Hi, welcome back to Proof It's Possible. Today we are talking about the power of pretty. And no, we are not just getting on here to be like, oh, you're so pretty. No, I'm so pretty. No, you're so pretty. We're talking about how pretty and well organized your branding is, your brand colors are, the way you represent with your brand, and why that's important. Jay, what do you think?
I buy with my eyes. I will tell you that I buy with my eyes. I need to physically see something and think that it looks nice before I purchase. I'm like one of the only humans I know that is still going to the mall to look for clothes. Like I'm not an online shopper very much. I don't even buy
And when
my
I
groceries.
do, I'm like, woo,
I don't even
did
get
that.
like click and collect for my groceries because I want to physically make sure that the produce looks nice. You know, like I'm very visual. I like to
And
I like to
tactile.
see it.
Like you want
And
to
so for me,
see,
it's
touch,
no
whatever.
different than when you're selling me your business, whatever service offering or product offering you have. I got to think it looks beautiful and I got to be attracted to it for me to even consider opening my wallet for it.
For sure. And do you want to know what I think? And like this comes from my like background in website design and designing logos and things. I give you a whole bunch of street cred, business cred, if you have some things lined up that are well done. Like if you have a good website, I'm like, oh, great. They're established. They know what they're doing. They're experts in their field. They may not be. They may have hired somebody like me to design that website and make them look like that. But I give that kind of credit. Whereas if I come to somebody's wonky website that doesn't make any sense, has no flow, isn't informative, you know, feels clunky, I'm like, they don't know what they're doing. I can't go along with this business. I have to move on. And the same is true whether your like platform is Instagram or Facebook or your website or like funnels or whatever it is. If it's this clunky thing, like for instance, to give you like a silly example, I bought a product recently, like a digital product, and loved it. I thought this is so great. But then the person started sending me their like funnels because now I'm in their system, and the funnels retargeted me to sell the exact same thing that I'd already bought. I was like, this is a mistake.
It happens to me a lot.
Yeah, it happens to you a lot. So what it makes you think is you're like, you didn't know that I bought that. You don't even know who I am. You're just sending me an ad, and this is not well done. Like, this is not well done. I need to be excluded from this ad and put me on your next ad because I love the product. So I'll very likely buy the next thing, but I need to know what the next thing is, not the thing I've already bought. So it's everything. I call it color branding. And with our Ultimate Girls Trip girls, like I say to them, like, we're going to take lots of pictures on our trip. Bring outfits in your brand colors if that's important to you. And like, they don't have to. It's no big deal if you don't do that. But if you have a really strong brand color, wear it. Wear it on the website. Wear it on the day that
you should. You should.
Yeah,
because
absolutely.
I'm telling you, like the companies that do it really well, you can spot their product a mile away. For instance, Starbucks, if you see that hunter green, even on the horizon, as you approach a new town and you're on a road trip, you know there's going to be a Starbucks up ahead. You don't need to see the full logo. You just need to see the color green, and you know what you're in for. Their specific green. You know, like same goes for like a McDonald's. If you see the golden arches, or you see even a
red and yellow,
you know what is up ahead. I'm telling you, the companies that are very successful They don't budge on their brand.
Exactly. They don't. And you know what else is, we don't see ourselves as brands because it's like, well, I'm just making soap, or I'm just selling courses, or I'm just coaching women, or whatever it is that's like what your business is. You don't see that that is as important of a brand as McDonald's
Mhm.
or as Starbucks, but
Mhm.
it is your personal brand. And so the thing for me is that make it align with you as well, so that it is easy to have a website in like the way that it looks, because it is your favorite colors. It is the colors that you wear. It is the colors you want to wear on your like photography day. But if you hate purple, do not make your brand color purple, because you're
Mhm.
never going to want to wear something that's purple. You're never going to want to look at your website because you hate the color purple. Like,
Mhm.
do not force yourself into something because you're like, well, everybody's done it. And what's funny is that what I want for us is I want our messaging and all of our stuff, that people are like scrolling and they don't even have a chance to read what it is, but they know it's from us before they've
Mhm.
even
Mhm.
stopped. And I did this to myself the other day. I like stopped. I was like, I don't remember posting something, but it was another brand that had really similar brand colors. And I was like, oh, I honestly thought this was us. Like but I don't, I was like, wow, Jay must have done her first ever
But
social media
that's the whole
post.
thing. Your brand needs to be so strong that when someone's scrolling and not even reading, they recognize that it's you
Yep.
and they've given you credit for posting,
Exactly.
even if
And
they
they
don't
it
stop
just
to
their
read it.
mind, exactly. Their mind is like, "Oh yeah, proof it's possible. Ultimate
Them
Girl Scout."
again.
Yeah,
Like it's a
exactly.
touch point without actually having a touch point. It's like
Yep,
you're entering into their subconscious every single time they see that brand color. They think of
yeah.
you, you
Even if
know?
they don't take the time to read the message or
Absolutely.
watch the reel or anything, absolutely. So I think color branding is like wildly important. And then I think that there's nothing worse. And this is honestly been on repeat in 2025 for me, is if your brand is about kindness or joy or
Oh,
community or
yes.
friendship,
Yes.
and you're all good online, and
Yes.
then you hit the roads and you hit events and you hit the world, the real world, and you
Mhm.
treat people poorly,
Mhm.
that is such an ick. Like such a turn off, such a so being authentic, like don't build a
Or
brand around happiness if you are
or
not happy.
or saying that like you're part of community, you're part of you female
Mhm.
entrepreneurship, or whatever the thing is, kindness, and then you get online and you do the exact opposite. So
Yeah.
if your brand is all about kindness, but then every time you post, you're like, so there's this girl and
Yeah.
she's copying my brand, or she's
Yeah.
doing this, she's doing that. It's like you're not oozing, your aura is not
Yes.
kindness. So you can tell us
Exactly.
your brand is kindness all the time, as many
Mhm.
times as you want. But what we're seeing and what you're behaving like
Messaging
is
is
not
yes,
kindness. So that
totally.
you lose credibility. You instantly become
Yep.
this like liar. Your brand becomes this facade. And
Mhm.
people, you lose credibility. Nobody wants to come to you for kindness because you're so busy on the socials talking about somebody, how somebody did you dirty.
Right.
I got a lot of
Or
that on my social
yeah,
media actually, where I'm like, what? You are.
I thought you cared about women, and now
Yeah.
you're calling this poor lady out on what she
Yeah.
posted. Like she's doing her best and she's excited about her business. Like leave her alone. That's
Yeah.
exactly, or it could be the opposite. Like I was kind of saying that somebody's all rah rah, girls, 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 fun, 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 happy, kind, whatever. And then you meet them at like an event or you meet them somewhere,
Yes.
you run into them at Starbucks, and
Yes.
they literally are like rude to the person that's serving them,
Hmm.
rude to you, whatever.
Hmm.
And you're just kind of like, oh my gosh, like you're nothing like I was expecting. I thought you'd be so kind and you're not kind, or whatever
Hmm.
the like persona is that you're portraying. So I
I
think like
have,
lining that up is very important.
like years ago, I bought a program from a girl who was like, I care so deeply about women and all this. This
Hmm.
was honestly like 15 years ago. And then I met her in real life. And she's
Yeah.
like, every customer matters to me and blah, blah, blah. It was a small group. I think there was 10 of us that bought. And we worked together for like 8 weeks and on elevator pitches. And I met her in real life and she goes, sorry, who are you? in the rudest. You were with me, I think, Dale. I think
Really?
we
I
were
don't
in like
remember.
LA or something, and we saw her at an
Yeah.
event, and she was like, "Who are you?" And like brushed me off like I was
Mhm.
just dirt. And I remember
Never
being
heard of her.
like,
Yeah, never heard of you, never seen you before. Why are you
yeah.
talking
And
to
I was
her?
like, okay, but you said like your clients are your everything. And I was
Yeah,
literally your client for 8 straight weeks leading up to this. Like, what are
yeah,
you talking about? You've never heard of me. And I've honestly, I've never bought from her ever again. Cause I'm like,
exactly.
you don't
Didn't
practice what you preach.
well, that and it made you feel bad, and also, like, hot tip, fake it. If you genuinely like, people forget people, so it's fair enough that, like, she might have had 30 groups
Yeah.
since in between or whatever, um, but be like, "Hi, how are you?" And, like, just be kind and nice, like,
Yeah.
just be social with the person and then, like, figure it out after, like,
Yeah.
who you were. I don't know, I think that there's, like, and I guess that's the role of having being authentic within your brand, whether it's online or in person, and also be a salesperson. If you're a business owner and you're out, you need to keep yourself a little bit together and, like, not use the crappy tone or not scream at the waitress or not, you don't want that to be who you are. Like,
Mhm.
use your tools that you've, like, self-developed to be a good person everywhere you are. Like, that's
Well, and treat it like you're always like advertising for yourself. You yourself are the ad.
Mhm.
You yourself are the marketing. Especially in
Exactly.
these like,
Personal brand.
smaller business, smaller brands. It probably is for a lot of women, it's just you. You're a
Of course.
solopreneur at the beginning of it. And
Yeah.
so you are your marketing. You
Yeah.
really are. Um,
What is your thoughts on this? So I get this a lot when I'm, like, chatting with friends and people in the DMs and, our amazing listeners and stuff. They're like, "Listen, I have, like, multiple businesses and I feel a little bit, like, inauthentic because of that." So where you've got the brand, but you're like, I'm a coach for women, let's say, like, someone will say that, and then they're like, "But I also love making candles." And I know that they don't go together in an obvious way. Like, do you think that somebody has to pick one thing and stick to it, or what are your thoughts on that?
as a multiple business owner,
Yeah,
not no.
I know. That's
And
what I
maybe
always
my
say. I'm
opinion
like,
is completely biased because
yeah,
I'm in the like group B, but I think that now more than ever in the like crazy economy we have seen as adults, like we've seen more
yes,
recessions in our generation than any other generation before us, and I hope any other generation in the future. We have seen such severe highs and lows as far as like the economy goes and political
hmm
stuff and just all the things. I
yeah,
think it's important for all of us to have more than one stream of income, especially because we have a lot of uncertainty in our world. And like
for
right
sure.
now is a perfect example. If you only had a product based business that you were selling to the United States as a Canadian or a Mexican, you might have a real problem doing carrying on with your
Right.
business. Like I've
Yes.
seen a lot of people be like, I'm really sorry, but I have to close my business because it's no longer profitable for me. Or
hmm
so I think that having more than one stream of income is actually really important. And I think it makes you a stronger business person because you can weather the storms by leaning on one business in certain times when it makes sense
Yeah,
and foregoing other businesses for small moments of time when it doesn't make sense.
for
So
sure.
I think you can have more than one, but I do think they should have a thread that weaves them all together. I do think a coach can be a candle maker. And I think even if that thread is that you are kind, you support
hmm
women, you support community, you
Well, it could be something like, I encourage women to, like, take time for themselves, relax, read.
yes.
So this candle is, like, helping in that. Or
And
I'd
I
also
also think
say,
that like the businesses can't be contradictory to each other. You can't have like
right.
a business that
Well, you can't sell alcohol and then also be a coach for people who don't drink or
yeah,
trying not to drink. Like, it's
yeah.
like, are you an
Mhm.
alcohol brand or are you an anti-alcohol brand? Like, I
And I
can't
think
make them
other
connect.
than that, the sky is the limit. Like,
I think so too. Because I think if it's authentic to the creator,
mhm.
then that can be the tie, right? Like
Yeah.
if it's your two passions, gardening happens to be one passion and, you know, doing whatever the other business is your other passion, they're allowed to like coexist. You're allowed to be more than one thing at a time.
100%. And also, like for my businesses, I have like a fire suppression business. What does that have to do with the Ultimate Girls Trip? Not like to the naked
Not
eye,
done.
not a lot. But I do think that like me as a business owner in both of those businesses, my pillars, the things that matter to me, like my personal code of ethics for both businesses, my mission statements for both businesses are
Mhm.
very similar. They are community first. Like, and in my
Yep.
fire business, that means like, First Nation communities, that means like being a good community member, being
Yes.
the team manager, being the coach, doing all of the things to support the community in which I live, the communities in which we work, the communities in which our employees work. We give donations to various
Yeah,
things. Like we
absolutely.
are good community members. That is the pillar of our business, is that we want to be good community members. And in the Ultimate Girls Trip, the pillar is we want to build good communities.
Sure.
We want to be supportive of other female entrepreneurs. The community is other female business entrepreneurs, and I want to be a good community member in that. So I
Yeah,
think that because my like guiding light is the same for both businesses, it's easily transferable. It's okay to be
for
both
sure.
and be totally separate at the same time.
Well, and something that connects those two businesses, the Ultimate Girls Trip and your fire suppression business, is your fire suppression business is where you've learned all of your hard lessons in business and where you've learned how to make income and how to have staff and how to scale and how to do do all the things that our Ultimate Girls Trip girls need to learn from you.
Mm-hmm.
That's what they're there for, is your actual business advice from running
Mm-hmm.
a real business.
Mm-hmm.
Because the trouble with coaching is that you can't coach somebody on something you've never done.
Yeah.
You can't coach somebody on something that you don't understand.
Mm-hmm.
So, and you haven't been down the like hard road from. And that's another thing that's been an interesting thing that's come up, and it's like I don't know what the word is, if it's not compassion, but you listen to like a podcast about something that really resonated with you this week because it was something you'd gone through. Had I listened to that same podcast, I would have been like, it was interesting, but who cares? Like, because
Mm-hmm.
I didn't go through it. So you need to go through some things sometimes to be helpful to others and to like push that knowledge forward.
Mm-hmm.
And
A hundred
honestly,
percent.
you and I come from entirely different backgrounds in business. And like, you know, stuff about like tax laws and you like the inner workings of the actual business that I'm like, oh my God, please don't say that to me ever again. I don't want to
Well, and
hear
like
about
your
this.
businesses, seemingly very separate, like you
Yep.
have a website designing business and a interior designing
Yeah,
business. And it's like, well, what do those have to do with each other? Well, they you like beautiful spaces, whether that's
absolutely.
like
I can
virtual spaces,
design,
digital
yes,
spaces, or physical
exactly.
spaces.
I can design anything. And so it's just a new, different kind of space. The
Yeah.
other thing about my businesses is it really encompasses like the website business is the one that doesn't make sense for a lot of people because I'm by trade an interior designer. So the website thing kind of came around and people are like, weird, what a weird combo. And I'm like, it's not though, because the things that I genuinely love are design in general. So whether
Hmm.
that's designing a house, uh, a room, a website, my outfit, anything.
Hmm.
I
Yeah.
can literally design a flower bed, like I have like ideas about how they should be spaced and what colors should go together and that's all just design work in your head. Um, but it also combines entrepreneurship for me. So my website business, although it doesn't sound as glamorous as my interior design title, it's equally as fun. It's equally as rewarding. And it's
Hmm.
because I'm getting to do two things I love, which is help an entrepreneur reach their goals, which also ties to Ultimate Girls Trip.
Yeah.
Realistically, it's like it's the woven fabric that you don't really see the actual ties until I explain it to you. And then it's like, oh, yeah, okay.
Hmm.
All of those businesses are like 1 degree away from each other.
Yeah. So I'm all for multiple businesses and
Yeah,
I'm all
I agree.
for, but I do think your branding has to be the same. Like,
Same.
well,
Like, I think you need to keep some sort of consistency within these
mhm,
brands.
yeah. Um, One last thing I wanted to talk about
Mhm.
is consistency in your branding. That's the thing. Like not between your businesses, but I just mean if you've got a side hustle, it's your only business that you've got going
Yep,
right now and you're just starting out and you're like this all feels really overwhelming and confusing. Stay consistent. Don't
yep,
don't if you've decided that your color is teal, let's say,
yep.
like you want to be known as the teal product, don't in a week's time be like, should I change that to pink? Did I make a
Mhm,
mistake? I'm just going to quickly change that one to pink and then we'll see how that goes. And then when 2 weeks down the road, you're like, you know what? But I saw this ad and it looked so cool and it was yellow.
mhm,
Don't do that.
mhm.
Don't, don't forego everything you've done. Stay consistent so that
Yeah,
people can start to recognize it.
exactly. And if you are gonna mix in a new color, you almost need to take the teal and the pink and do a hybrid that you
Hmm.
know probably won't stay, and then you slowly
Yes,
transition the new color in and make it part of it that feels right. And like there is a time and a place for rebranding where you're like,
of course.
I gotta
Of course.
redo this, I
But
gotta rethink everything.
you know when the time and place is not? When you're a startup, when you're brand
Absolutely.
new. When you're an
Exactly.
established business, that's
Mhm.
when you can talk about rebranding or
And you've aged out of the things that you loved 5 years ago, you're just so over and you need a new
yep.
refreshing whatever. Um, I always use the example of some designing someone's house. So when somebody's house
I've got a good
needs
example of how you
do
aged out
you?
of one.
But basically they give me like all their favorite colors, like all their styles they love, a couple of pictures on Pinterest, and we get moving with that plan. And then they go into one store and they see something like a hot pink couch, or whatever. And
Mhm.
they're like, "Okay, you know what? I changed my mind and I want to keep everything the same, but I was thinking I might just bring this hot pink couch in." And that for reference, the hot pink couch makes no sense with their old design aesthetic. They
Mhm.
wanted oatmeals, they wanted off whites, they wanted soothing creams and all the things, with a green accent, let's say. And so it's like this hot pink couch will be out of place.
Mhm.
And they want to change. And then so we do the hot pink couch, we adjust a couple of things, and then 3 weeks go by again. They see something new and they're like, "Okay, you know what? I found a navy blue chair and I really really want this navy blue chair." And they keep doing that over and over and over again. And then at the end of the day, and I warn and I warn and I warn about original plans and the overall feel and look that they're looking for. And then the we do the reveal of the house and they're like, "This isn't what I thought it would look like." And I'm like, "Well, I know because you literally changed not just a piece of furniture, you changed your design style. You went
Mhm.
from comfy, cozy to modern, sleek to, old man's
Eclectic.
eclectic chair. And
Yeah.
we got one room here and they're all trying to live amongst themselves. And no, it doesn't look anything like what we originally talked about. I agree that it doesn't tie back to the design board at all. But that
Mhm.
is the equivalent of changing your brand, changing your brand, changing your brand, being inconsistent, messing around too much. Like
Mhm.
just set it and forget it for a little while and work on the inner workings of your business and making money.
Mhm. And I will just point out that Dale's first rendition of her interior design logo was
Oh,
was a chevron
hmm,
bright
yes.
blue
Yep.
design
Yep.
that was very juvenile because you were in your 20s.
I
It
was.
was
And
like what
A,
you
that's what I
liked
could
and
afford. B, shabby chic was in. So it was like a draw, like an outline of like a little old fashioned
vintagey
vintagey
sofa.
sofa
Yeah,
and
in
with its
chevron
chevron
pattern.
background. Awful. Like now,
Mhm.
awful. But then all the rage. I mean, but you know what? You buzz cut your hair
I
when
didn't
you were a
choose
little
that.
girl.
We can't
Yes,
talk
you
about
did.
no, I
And
didn't choose that.
I permed my hair for far too long.
But the
So
reason I was
we
sharing
all
the
made
story about
mistakes.
the logo is that it's proof that you do age out of things and do
You
things
do.
do have to change. Because if she kept that logo, people would be like, whoa, I got a teenager who's out of style here that
Yeah,
wants to design my
absolutely.
house. So I do think branding can change. I just don't think it can change in the beginning phase. You have to stay consistent for the first little while. And if it's not working after a year and you don't think you picked the right branding, that's when you can pivot and
Yeah,
go to the drawing board.
for sure. I agree. All right. We'd love to hear your branding challenges. Where are you at? Do you love your branding? Have you even started? Are you somebody that's like branding? What's that? What do you
What?
mean?
Yeah, what are you
Like,
talking about?
yeah.
Mhm.
But we hope while you're building your brands, whether they're personal brands, product brands, service brands, whatever it might be, faceless brands, you're sticking to
What is
what you
authentic to
set
you?
out. Yes, and what is authentic to you.
Mhm.
Have a great week, you guys. We love having you join us. Thank you so much. We appreciate you.
Bye, guys.
Bye. We are so grateful you're here.
It would mean the world to us if you'll subscribe to our podcast and YouTube channel and leave us a review.
If you want to hear more from us, go to proofitspossible.com to join our mailing list and find our social links so you don't miss a thing.
Thanks, and chat next time.